personnel meeting to order. We had the pledge to the flag at the public hearing. So first up this morning is our personnel officer, Monica Field. Come on up, Monica. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I didn't have a report because it was been business as usual. This morning, though, we did plan to have a special exam for our account clerk typists because we have a couple of positions in the county and other places that are open, and we have no eligible list. So that would mean those people would have to be appointed provisionally. So we're going to hold a special exam for them on September 10th. It's a Saturday. So if you have someone that's interested in applying for our continuous recruitment for account clerk typists, please have them get their applications in, and the announcement will go out sometime today for that. Otherwise, business as usual, like I said.
Are there any questions for Monica? Thank you very much, Monica.
Okay, thank you.
Clerk of the board. Nothing to report. Any questions for the clerk of the board? Okay. Dan Manning is otherwise involved at the courthouse, but he does have a resolution he'd like to put forward, and that is urging the governor to sign into law public defense mandate relief. Would someone like to move that? Mr. Merrihew, seconded by Mr. Gilliland. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. Let's see here. We have a request by Mr. Lavantia, the county clerk, to address this committee because of previous appointment. So if you can hold on for just a minute, he has an appointment later on, which would make him not able to attend the finance committee meeting. So we'll give him a call and see if we can get him over here. I'm sorry, I missed another agenda item. Bear with me this morning, please. We have for discussion a resolution establishing Essex County Employee Assistance Program to employees and their families. If I can get a motion for that in a second, we'll open it for discussion. Moved by Mr. Preston and seconded by Mr. Monty, and I think what I'd like to do is have Mr. Monty explain what he'd like to do with this.
Last week we gave you out the tentative manual on the Employee Assistance Program for you to review and offer any suggestions or additions or deletions to the program. I did hear from Mr. Moore. He made a couple suggestions to it. Nothing really in the wording of the program, but some things that we'd already discussed. And I guess I would like to know if anyone else has any thoughts, any questions, any concerns about the program that we sent back to you.
Toby?
The only one was the one I brought up, whether or not it was modified to allow for towns to utilize the program through the county.
I don't see an issue with that. That would have to be a county decision. I don't see why they couldn't use it, Roby, and I think it'd be a great idea.
I would like to, if it's possible, to have the resolution include language to that effect, that if we could use the service, the town had an instance to use the service, it might prove beneficial to employees.
I think what we did on the state level, Roby, when we did this, each individual group signed an agreement with the county. Like, when I worked with the City of Plattsburgh Police Department, they signed an agreement to a memorandum of understanding to use the program. So I think that would be my suggestion, is that each community do that with it being allowed.
Yeah, again, I think that probably can be done, but I think there probably needs to be some language added to this current agreement that Dan could do that would identify the process by which a town would participate. Now, I guess my only question would be whether whether you would need a representative from each town in order to participate in the training and that kind of stuff.
Usually what they did with the other agencies that I worked with until Franklin County established their own full-blown program, but they are allowing other communities to do it the same way. They have a contact person there within the towns to go to familiarize them. They aren't the coordinator, they'll come to the county coordinator.
Okay, all right.
So they'll have a contact person there that would give them that information.
Okay.
Mr. McNally?
Yeah, I have concerns on liability if we had like a breach of confidentiality. Are we covered for anything like that?
Well, typically we're covered for that no matter what. In every, the county carries insurance specifically for that kind of problem that may develop with any county employee or official.
So this program is going to be covered under the county?
Right, it would be covered under the county's liability.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I think then what we should do is amend the resolution to include language to allow the towns to participate in the program, and then distribute that resolution to, again, and to include the unions, Dan and Monica Peely from personnel, and get everybody's support for it, and then we can move on with it.
One of the things I do want to bring up, Mr. Moore, too, is that the language in the program stipifies that the agency head is the appointing authority. Well, in this case, we're the agency head. There's 18 of us. I think within the program we would like to see designated Dan as that person, because he's here every day running the day-to-day operations where we're not.
Okay.
And I think that would be very appropriate to do with the board's permission on that.
I think that's probably something everybody would agree to. Thanks. Any further discussion? Okay, so once we get the amendment made to the resolution, we'll reintroduce it.
Should we take that half a step further and make sure we have union's approval on this to bring it back?
Yeah,
with everyone's approval first?
Yes.
And then bring it to the...
That's when we would bring it back.
Right.
Typically with these things that, again, because you can't take something away from the union, and you can't give something to the union without the union agreeing. So we do need an agreement. Usually when we pass these resolutions, they're subject to the union's approval.
Maybe the next labor management meeting I could be invited to, and we can discuss it there?
Sure. Yeah.
Further discussion? Okay, next we have our county clerk, Joe Galancha. Good morning, Joe. Good morning.
I apologize for coming to this meeting as opposed to finance, but I've got an emergency dental meeting after this. The only thing I'm asking for is, we were fortunate enough to receive a grant from State Archives, and we need to approve that grant. There is no money from the county required. This is strictly a grant from the state in the amount of $22,401.
Somebody like to move that? Mr. Skozavala, second by Mr. Gilliland. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Thank you. And the second one would be, now we have to take that money and put it into our budget. So I have a budget amendment request also.
By Mr. Skozavala, second. By Mr. Gilliland. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries.
Thank you. And I don't know if, I just wanted to know that Sue Neely from my office, she lost her mother. She's also Hannah, Jake's grandmother, and Allie's grandmother. She hails from the town of Willsboro. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Joe? Sean's moving. Yes, Joe? Got a question from Mr. Gilliland?
Want to move it?
You want to do the resolution, it's all condolence?
Okay, we have a resolution of condolence from Mr. Gilliland, second.
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions for Joe? Yes, now. Anything else to come before the Personnel Committee? We are adjourned.